my passions is to help the next generation learn about sports marketing careers, because I was fortunate enough to have worked my way through Auburn as a sports information sports writer, which led me on my career path, which is one reason you guys are here today, because I love to do the intern programs and help you guys out. I said, hey, I've got some ideas. I want to come down and speak to your class and whatever we can do to kind of help. And so sort of out of that has really blossomed a fantastic friendship with Dr. Lewis Carla, who is a candidate for a PhD. The point is that you just never know in life where you're going to encounter somebody who's going to become very important to you in life, who's going to become a dear friend, and who you're going to be working together on projects. And so as you go forward, everybody that you meet through this program, everybody that you meet at school, and everybody you meet in the extracurricular and the other types of experiences that you're getting, never forget to nurture those relationships.
From a research topic standpoint, my agenda is sport consumer behavior. So it's a broad term, however, it looks at the behavior of students. When you look at social media, when you look at fan engagement, fan experience, when you talk about former student athletes and where former student athletes are today compared to the general population that didn't play sports, where are they from a wealth building standpoint, where are they from a health standpoint, where are they overall? So that's something else from a research topic that impassions me from former student athlete, and then also with the evolution and emergence of social media and those pockets, those categories, that's where the future is definitely going, and want to be the cusp on that research area. The first, enhancing shaping consumer attitudes. So when you start talking about the sponsorship marketing, you're trying to enhance those individuals out there. That's what you guys are going to be trying to do, is shape those attitudes to be with your brand, whether it's Coca-Cola, whether it's the NBA, whether it's Powerade. That's what you're going to be tasked with. So that's one of the key objectives that you want to focus on. Two, it's like what Carla said about driving sales. I came from an industry where it was about revenue, profit margin. And at the end of the day, that's what you want to be able to do. You either want to make the company money or you want to save the company money to make sure that you're adding value. So as you're out there working on your campaigns, working on your projects, at the end of the day, you're trying to drive sales to make that value add. And then the third component is creating positive publicity and then that heightened visibility. It's all about having a positive image, positive brand. And you want to create that positively with your athletes that can be involved with the sponsorships. It may be someone in a leadership role at the company that can do the same thing. And again, with the commercials, with the activation, as you see here in the slide, is that it's about that heightened visibility.
And this isn't necessarily unique to the sports industry. However, we think it's pretty universal advice. So whether you take this internship and you want to move in a different direction, or you fall in love with this and you want to move, full steam ahead, we really think that this advice is pretty global to anyone who wants to be successful in business.
Absolutely. Study psychology. Coach Nick Saban is very high and positive about having a sports psychologist on his team. Psychology is very important because you all are going to have to get in the minds of the consumer. All right, so you have the millennials on one end. Have any of you heard about Generation Z? Okay, Generation Z, they're the next consumers that are coming up. And they were born with smartphones in their hand. Let me order online, let me receive emails for coupons, let me do it that way. I'm not going into a brick and mortar. So when you talk about psychology, you're gonna have to start thinking like, how does that consumer think? How does that teenager think now? Because they're gonna be that next buyer on the escalator as the millennials drop off and that sort of thing. So the psychology is very important to be able to listen to those consumers, those prospects, and get an understanding of where they are mentally as well.
I think another, we talk about the consumer, but I know Lee Steinberg also talked about getting in minds of the athletes. And while you may not be necessarily an agent, That's your brand. You're having to, especially when you go to professional sports, you're having to sell those players. So how do they think? How do they shop? How are you going to align with what they're thinking and what they're doing with a prospective sponsor, or even not necessarily a sponsor? Let's say you're working in internal marketing. How are you going to profit off of who this person is? Because I think sometimes we just see these figures who throw a ball or shoot a hoop, but these are people, and you have to, in order to connect with the psychology of the consumer, you have to be able to let them relate to those athletes.
So this is one of those things that we always talk about to students and others, but invest in yourself, invest in your network, invest in your team. And when you look at the sports business world, a lot of it, the majority of it is not what you know, it's who you know that gets you there. It's what you know that keeps you there. All right, so it's the who, and then it's the what. And it's about using everything above your shoulders. It's like Carla was saying, hey, they can't take that education away from you. It's about using everything above your shoulders. You want to have that knowledge base.